I started. Now let's see.
That sounds like your life.
Sounds like we're live. So anyway, you're gonna. Can't sit on my phone.
I can.
You can. Hey, Pickers, how's it going? I can't. You can, but I wish you wouldn't. Hey, Albany. How's it going? It said 2 were watching. Now it says no one's watching.
It lies.
No, because our line went orange. Now it says 1 is. It don't lie. It's a machine.
It gives false information.
Okay.
How's that?
Can you see? Because it's got an orange line here.
I can see you.
You can see me?
You are.
Okay. We're coming on a little early tonight.
There's Robin.
Hey, Robin. Enjoying the cooler temps, windows open, fresh air, so nice. Yeah. Hey, Suburban. Not so much here.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Terry. No, it's still above normal in the 80s here. Tons of mosquitoes.
I've got to turn it a little bit.
I gotta turn a little bit.
Because I can lean in like this, but if you would.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make anybody seasick.
No, I'll take care of the sick part. Hi.
Is that better?
Well, you want me in the picture.
So.
Suburban said, nice to see y'all are okay.
We are.
Mostly.
A little distraught. A wee bit distraught. Maybe a little bit more than distraught.
Just trying not to. About that.
About that distraught? About that distraught?
It kind of fluctuates.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to snort. Sorry. We're just. Hold it. This is not right. I'm sorry, guys. Gonna adjust a second. Okay. Hope I didn't make anyone seasick.
No, that was the earlier pivot.
Hey, Tanya.
Yeah, the house is still standing.
The house is standing. The garage has a tree on it. When we thought about opening the car, well, after we got back, got back last Sunday, went straight to Julie's house and stayed at Julie's house all day Monday. Tuesday morning, you thought about opening the car and was going to start it, and we had an inch of water still left in the car. Under the house was wet, so the floors have started to buckle. And, but overall, we're blessed. We are so blessed. Have a friend who had 3 trees down on her house, and her husband has a workshop, tack room, and feed room that are all together. 2 trees on top of that.
Yep.
So.
And they evacuated as well.
Hey, Dragon's telling.
The tree actually branches poked through the roof, through the attic, and through the ceiling, so water ran all through the house for several days worth of rain.
Well, the 12 plus hours of hurricane force winds.
Yeah.
And rain, and then the rain that lasted for 3 days.
So their entire house is going to have to be gutted.
Yeah. Hey, Kitty. So overall, we are extremely blessed.
They just had a tree on the corner.
They had 2 trees. They had 2 trees
on the corner of the garage.
2 different spots on. It's not a garage. It started life as a pole barn.
It's a workshop. Whatever. The thing out back. The house is fine. No damage at all.
Lots of trees down. Julie has documented a lot, and she is getting all the photos together, and we're going to do a slide presentation on some of the damage. But let me tell you, if I didn't already know that I lived in a blessed area, let me tell you what. Excuse me. Let me explain to you what a truly. Let's start with the storm itself, okay? It was a Cat 4. It was going to be a strong Cat 4 or a Cat 5, and we were told there was nothing, no meteorological event that was going to happen.
Yeah, there was
that was going to shear it, going to stop it, going to drift it in another direction. It was coming.
Yep.
It was coming. That's it. Cat 4, Cat 5. Well, I've gone through a Cat 3 in a building that was made of 18-inch thick concrete. When I walked out of that building, I honestly thought, having never been in one, I now truly knew what a war zone looked like. Having seen pictures of Maria and Hugo and Katrina, those were all Cat 4 storms.
Andrew was a 4 or 5.
Knew what that entailed. So I truly expected that we would come back only to make a claim and everything would be gone.
Yeah.
We left when it was a Cat 4 storm. I'm not staying. And it went down to a Cat 2. No reason other than we are blessed. It went down to a Cat 2. When it finally made landfall, it was a Cat 1.
Yeah. Well, it did kind of do that pivot and rake along the coast.
And that's what caused all the damage and all the flooding, is because the storm slowed down to 3 miles an hour. And it was, from the center of the eye, was 250 miles wide each side. So that was a 500-mile wide storm that had no meteorological reason to dissipate, and it went down to a Cat 1.
Hi, Sybil.
Hey, Sybil.
Yeah, the pivot wound up with over 100-mile-an-hour winds sustained for over 12 hours in parts of our county, large portions of it. So all of the wind driving inward and causing flooding sustained that through 2 high tide cycles, and there were areas flooded that had never flooded. Places that flooded from other storms had even more flooding than it ever had.
Unofficially, it made landfall, first landfall, because it wobbled, and the eye made first landfall unofficially on Cape Lookout, which is
5 miles from here.
5 miles from here. I didn't think it was that far. But okay, 5 miles from here. So, considering that for over 12 hours there were 100-mile-an-hour winds on the upper right quadrant of the storm, which is always the strongest part of any hurricane, and for no scientific reason, that storm went from a strong 4
to a 2
to a 1 when it.
Suburban said her husband's best friend was on guard duty at Paris Island during Hurricane Hugo.
And it was bad. So
Dragon's Talon, that's something I haven't had a chance to go look at anything.
What's that?
Just something in the comments.
So
Christy Betts said that was weird how that storm changed. It was divine intervention's the only thing that.
Yeah, that's what we call it. A meteorological miracle. Because our home should not be standing here right now. And we're blessed. We are so blessed. I know I keep saying that, but you don't understand how that feels when you leave here being told that everything will be gone. And even though, yes, the car's gone, there was water under the house, so the floors are buckling a little. We lost all our frozen.
We lost
We
our
lost
pigs.
we lost the meat that we raised and put in the freezer, but that's okay. And there was a tree laying on top of my garage, and the reason the tree is still on top of my garage is because the way it's laying, I need somebody to come and remove it, and I can't have it removed until the insurance company sees it because my gas tank and my well are right there. And if that slips and slides or falls or rolls the wrong way, either my well is gone or the gas tank is gone or both of them are gone.
Mark Krieger said, God is good, prayer works. I've been praying for you too. Thank you,
Thank
Mark.
you. Thank you. And yes, prayer does work because I don't know anybody around here that wasn't praying.
Yeah.
And it just worked. So that's before the storm.
Terry said the 3 trees I was worried about that would fall and hit the house are getting cut down Monday.
And that is a blessing, Terry. You have a blessing.
So Suburban said take pictures every day till it's removed.
Let me tell you the blessing that opened my eyes to that there are really still very good people in this world, and I live amongst them. There was no power here for over, what? If the storm hit on the
13th, the power went out. It came back on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, 9 days. So people had whatever food they had at their houses. Whatever supplies they had at their houses. People didn't have to use their supplies very much. Local restaurants got together and were some way able to bring food in. Restaurants from around the state found out people were without food. Every day, people, it was like the Sermon on the Mount.
There was the
loaves and fishes.
The food multiplied.
There was food. No one had to go hungry. Restaurants would set up. They would, of a family that's in need? Give us their name and address. And they were delivering meals to families.
And
they were delivering. And every fire department, wherever it came from, there was 2 bags of ice per day per family. There were MREs. There were cleaning supplies. There were personal hygiene supplies.
Cases of water.
Cases of water. Yeah.
And
there's still people in our county that are without electricity and still in need. And these supplies have not dried up because the majority of the county has power. They're still there. You need water. You need clothes. You need food. You need, and it's there.
It got to the point where there was so much outpouring of stuff coming into the county that they were trying to find places that they could deliver it to that had space because they couldn't give it away as fast as it was coming in. And there were local restaurants that had the place to cook, but they had no supplies. People inland would buy food
and truck
it in to the restaurant so they could cook it. That local little General Aviation Airport in Beaufort, daily flights, 2 and 3 a day, people flying in 1,000 meals, 2,000 meals worth of food to get out to be distributed and cooked. Somebody that my family knows, Randy. Anyway, they came down, their whole church came down to the little town of Marshallburg, and they sat up there for 5 days.
They set up a grill and cooked 3 meals a day.
They had food delivered constantly to keep the supplies on hand, to keep the people fed. And it was like that all over the county. It's like that in other counties around us. I we're better off now. There's still counties in our area where the flooding hasn't gone down yet. I think the flooding is in South Carolina. The rains going down through the river basins have finally crested, and the flooding's going down there. But it's still
And
amazing the
yes,
amount of people flooded out, and the support is pouring in that you wouldn't believe.
in other counties you heard there was minor looting, but people had each other's backs here. And so there was no gas. There was no gas. The power was gone. There was no gas. What you had in your car was all that you had. And so they delivered. You can't come in. There was a curfew. There was a curfew from sundown to sun up. They brought meals out. Everybody that needed food got food. So what
Tanya said there's still some amazing people in this world, and Sybil said yes, there is, Tanya.
And so when I say we live in a very blessed area, I can't even tell you how good God is and how good the people here and around this state are.
Suburban said the local radio station here sent 18 tractor trailers loaded. Citizens donated supplies, and a trucking company donated transportation.
And it reached here. Don't ever doubt that it didn't reach where it needed to go. Because, like I said, every day, every family could get 2 bags of ice. They could get all the water they needed. They could get meals they needed. They got meals that were cooked, nice hot meals, and MREs were given out. There were Red Cross cleaning kits for flood kits for cleaning and disinfecting. There was personal hygiene kits.
The volunteer organizations, Samaritan's Purse, various church organizations would come in. They said if you have and Facebook came into its own. There was a Facebook group that if you had a need, you posted on there. Somebody watched. There were people watching that kept track of who had the needs and who had the supplies. Coordinated it all through social media. If you needed trees off of your house, the elderly folks, that people would show up. They would send people out. The houses got trees off of them. They had got help gutting houses for people who were flooded out, and things were really going well. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Mike.
The support here was amazing.
Wasn't right, Michael? It was just unbelievable.
Now, we've been through hurricanes here before, and not seen the level of outpouring of support. There's some, Red Cross and things like that. This one was so widespread and so publicized that.
And you have to imagine, it wasn't just our county. This storm was 500 miles wide. At one point, it went from almost the northern part of the coastal North Carolina, to the southernmost part of.
It went into South Carolina. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it covered our
at the same time.
And it went inland and then went down into South Carolina and hooked back up into the western part of the state. So.
And really, nobody had to go hungry. And even if you didn't have transportation, you still didn't have to go hungry, because all they had to hear was that this is where you were and you had no food, and they brought it to you. They brought you water, they brought you ice, they brought you food, they brought whatever it is that they found out that you needed.
We're Americans. That's right. That's how it works. That's what we do.
It reminded me of what America used to be.
It's what America still is, contrary to what you hear on the media and all of the hype you hear. When the chips are down, Americans pull together.
And blessed. That's all I can say is blessed. Miracles and blessings happened in these past couple of weeks. And I don't say that lightly. Yeah, we have a few problems here. Yeah, we have friends that have horrible problems, but we're all going to get through it.
Kitty said it sort of disappoints me. The only time American become one again is when there's a disaster, when it should be all the time we lift each other up. Well,
Yeah.
true.
But for us, this was a good awakening because my family was touched and blessed so much that I absolutely will not forget it and will reach out as much as I can to touch and help another family.
Well, one of the things I saw was now after Hurricane Katrina, I know there were a lot of folks here, Baptist men's missionary groups and things like that. A lot of church groups left and went down to Mississippi and to the Gulf Coast states and helped out after Hurricane Katrina. And one of the groups that showed up was a group of folks from down on the Gulf Coast. They said, "Hey, we're just paying it back. Y'all came and helped us." And the what's it called? The Cajun Navy.
The Cajun Navy even came
was
up.
in New Bern doing water rescues.
And there was some tragedy. There was a tornado, and 5 members of the Cajun Navy went missing.
This kind of disaster, Kitty said, this thing shows you where your weaknesses are and what really matters to us all in the end. I'm hoping more people wake up seeing all this devastation.
So, now the downside of it, it's heartbreaking to drive down the road and see everything somebody owns on the side of the road because it was all flooded. See all their possessions in the interior of their homes piled up high on the side of the road.
Yeah, and it's wearying. Just it goes on, some of it, but it's something that can be overcome. One of the problems we have is a lack of temporary or lack of housing around here because in the past couple of days, 2 different apartment complexes have been declared uninhabitable, and the people have got 5 days.
A girl that a woman. I can't. I gotta stop calling them girls and boys. They're in their mid to late 30s, but they're still children. So there's to us, they're still the girls and boys that Stephen and Julie went to school with.
Yeah. But they've got 5 days to find some place to live, and there's not really anything in the county that's available because so many people are already finding places to stay.
Yeah. So, please pray for those folks that they find adequate housing. As I said, someone Julie went to high school with sent her a text last night that she got a notice just an hour before that she has to be out of her home by Friday because it's uninhabitable. Uninhabitable.
So we are, there are some things that we're not happy with, but we're blessed. We have the house is dry inside, the roof is solid, the floors they'll dry out over time. They'll get them fixed. We have a dry bed and food to eat. Christy Betts said, "My 30-something kids keep reminding me they're adults. They'll always be my kids."
Exactly. Yeah, okay, Princess, go lay down.
Daisy, go. Go. Get going. No, go.
Okay.
That's the problem. One's crawled up in my lap and the other one wants space too.
Okay. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that, but I have to stretch my leg out. And, I can't sit crisscross applesauce all that much anymore.
How are all your animals?
Animals are well. After the storm, after everything was all settled, we lost a baby goat and we lost a couple bunnies. But we didn't lose anybody in the storm. Okay, Princess, go lay down now.
Yeah, one of the follow-on thunderstorms, all of the goats huddled in a big heap, and the baby got on the bottom and squished.
Yeah.
Smothered.
So, and we're still having rain. I mean, we had a thunderstorm so bad last night that we were at Julie's house, and we decided to leave. We were at a point that we couldn't turn around and go back, and going home was kind of unnerving, because in a 55-mile-an-hour road we were doing 30 miles an hour and still couldn't see as clear as we needed to be driving, and there was no place to pull off the side of the road. Why don't you take her outside real quick?
Yeah, the Dragon's Talon said, I bet their house is under foreclosure. That could be used, but I doubt the banks would open up those houses for people. The real estate organization here is contacting all the folks with second homes in the area.
Yeah.
To see if they'll open them up for temporary rentals for folks who are without.
So, our local real estate agents association is getting together, and they're really trying to come up with adequate housing for everyone. And who knows, they may be able to talk a few banks into doing the same thing. But we are the other half of our county, we're in a rural part, but the other half of our county is a tourist destination. And we only have 60,000 people in our county, full-time residents. And most of the year, our county is only 60,000 deep. But during the summer months, we do have some beaches, and people come here, and so they don't come down to our end of the county. But hey, Patrick, I was so glad to hear that you guys made it through everything, and very happy to hear that things are well with you. Like I said, blessed beyond belief. Somebody tells you miracles don't happen nowadays, I'm going to tell you yes they do, because a Category 4, possibly 5 storm with absolutely no meteorological reason to dissipated. And you see all the damage that a Cat 1 storm can do. That's what gets me. People say, it's a Cat 1 storm, I'm going to stay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this was a Cat 1 storm that stayed for days. But anyway, I digress. What else is going on? We are now carless. So, right?
Well, presumably they will either say, oh, the car's fine and give it back to us, or they will pay us for it, and then we'll figure something. Hey, Patrick, how's it going?
So, let's see what else is going on. I'm ready for it to be cooler. I gotta be honest with you. It's so damp outside. And then you have the heat and humidity. And the mosquitoes. Oh!
Well,
mosquitoes. Julie calls them, she says they're not mosquitoes. She says that they're baby pterodactyls.
We lost, 2 bunnies? 1 bunny. But the rabbits are, Patrick asked if any of the rabbits made it. Almost all of the rabbits.
Almost all of them made it, yeah.
And all of the rest of the animals are doing well.
The trees, though. And you know what surprises me? It's because everybody knows that pine trees fall over in a good stiff breeze. The amount of cedar trees.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of trees that we don't know. A lot of oak trees at Julie and David's.
Michael
said the mosquitoes are the size of a quarter. Yeah,
they are.
They actually had a story on the news about how there's a breed of unusually large and aggressive mosquitoes that have made their appearance after this. They're
huge.
When they land, they are the size of a quarter on your arm, the legs and all. And Now we're doing fairly well with that in that I have one of the mosquito foggers.
Yeah, you all know that we like to do things as naturally as possible. But when you walk up to your front door and it's no longer white because of all the mosquitoes,
Yeah, when it's gray and
you then have to take action. So we have been fogging a lot.
sometimes you have to use the nukes. I mean, nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be
Yeah,
safe.
because let's not forget there are mosquito born illnesses. Yeah.
Breakaway. Patrick said they lost a 100-year-old. I don't know how old the ones in Julie's yards are. I guess we should count rings, but the trunks on them are 2.5 feet thick.
Now, speaking of trees being down, the trees are not all cleaned up, and there's a very good reason for that. One, it's hot. No. No. I had this scathingly brilliant idea. And normally when I tell everybody, listen, I have a scathingly brilliant idea, they go, no, don't, no. But this one was scathingly brilliant.
It was actually a pretty good idea.
And everybody wants to... We had to order a few things. We had the chainsaw, but we had to order a longer bar and chain. And then we also ordered a portable sawmill. Because I got to thinking, we cut up firewood. We have firewood for next year.
Yeah, Patrick said they have wood for next season, 3 cords worth out of that one tree.
Exactly. So you can only store so much firewood, okay? However, we need to repair fences. We need to repair
goat houses, chicken
and
coops. Things need work.
Yeah, we need to make repairs on things. So with the chainsaw and the portable sawmill, we are going to plane our own planks. And then we'll rip them to the sizes we need.
We're going to reduce the trunks of the trees to timber.
We are. I mean, I was sitting there and I was having a morning cup of tea and I was thinking about all the things we had to do and all the wood that we already cut up and all the wood that still needs to be cut up and all the wood that we're going to need. And our local Lowe's was really
the roof was
devastated.
Tore open and they had 3 inches of standing water through the store.
It's still not open. It's going to open next week, but it's still not open. And we do have a couple of local building supply companies, which we use. We usually use those and only go to Lowe's if we can't get what we need from the other 2 places. But why? God has given us all this timber, all this wood that we are going to turn into usable planks.
Usable product. Firewood, planks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it all cut up. And yeah, as Patrick said, do it while it's still green. We will, and we're going to have to stack it and let it dry some. But
we can do that.
We can do that. And
we can let it dry over the winter because we have a place to put it so that it'll dry. Yeah. And come spring, we can make all the repairs, changes that we need.
Yeah.
So this really was
repairs we've taken care of. But
this really was a scathingly brilliant idea.
It's actually a pretty good one. Dragonstown said, when all is said and done, cutting those trees that came down on your property will cost less than getting the same material from a company store.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to get sheets of plywood out of it, but I can live without sheets of plywood if I have planks. Because until the 40s, the 50s, everything was built out of planks.
Well, our house.
Yeah, this house.
The only insulation in the house that we have is in an addition that we made. If the paneling were to come off the walls, we have oak.
Yeah, this whole house, the walls are oak planks. So the problem is not where can I hang something. The problem is getting a nail through the board so that you can get it to put a picture on or whatever. I have actually bent the finishing nails that you use for small pictures and stuff. I bent them trying to nail them into the wall.
Our nearest neighbor was actually born in this house. Her father built this house and planed all the wood on site. And that's how the house was built.
Yeah, the rafters in the roof. When you say you have dimensional lumber, 2x4s, 2x6s, 4x or whatever, they're actually milled down smaller than that. The stuff in our house is built out of rough cut. The the roof joists are 4 inches by 6 inches or whatever, and some of them they taper down a little bit as the wood got narrower. So they're roughly. So that's what makes it a challenge to do anything around here, because I can't just go buy a 2x4 and throw it in place of something. I have to get something oversized and then trim it down to fit where it needs to go, because sometimes it's what might be where a 2x4 would go is more like 2 by
or a 5x3.
Yeah, 5x3 or so it's. And I think Dr. Seuss had a part in laying out.
Well,
some
Julie
of the
calls
walls,
this the Dr. Seuss house.
because corners aren't exactly plumb and square. They're kind of in the ballpark. And so it's, of course, it works out well, because that's the way most of the things I build come up, is a little bit off plumb anyway.
He's not lying.
Well, hey, the chicken coop I built out back is plumb and square, and it stood through 3 hurricanes now.
Yeah.
We said I was going to move into that when we had a storm.
Yeah, we actually did. We built a chicken 8 feet high, 8 feet wide, 4 feet deep, 16-inch on center.
Out of pressure-treated lumber with tie-downs and everything else. Yes, Michael, that's the one he helped us with. It's solid, isn't it?
Yep. Michael helped put the roof on that, because Steve...
Well, he helped frame it in, too.
Yeah, he did. But that roof, I remember how heavy that roof was.
Built the roof on the ground and set it on the box, then attached it. Yeah, I haven't even lost a shingle off of that in 3 hurricanes.
Nope. Yes, Michael, that is exactly the one you helped build. So, having said all that, and Michael, how is your house? Because I know your house flooded. Are you guys okay? Michael is a young man who I would call
He's another one of the boys. One of the kids.
Yeah. He's our other son. He and Stephen have been friends since 7th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, something like that. And
he said, still wet in places, but we will be okay.
Okay. So, and for those of you who don't know, I have been in touch with Celtic Nana. She has some damage. She was in one of the towns that flooded really bad. She was not there. She did leave as we did. She made it back last week. She's doing okay. Just a lot of cleanup that's coming. So if you all will keep Celtic Nana in your prayers too.
Tanya said, who really cares about the house and being a little bit off plumb? It was built with love.
It was. And what better house for us than something that's off plumb?
Because I'm a little off plumb.
No, baby, you're a lot off plumb.
Hey, be nice. I'm a little off plumb.
I'm a little off plumb. You're a lot off plumb. That's why I love you.
Hey, so what Tarzan said when he saw the plums coming down the path?
What?
Here come the plums. Do you know what Jane said when she saw the plums coming down the path?
What?
Oh, wait, I got to tell another first. What's the difference between an elephant and a plum?
An elephant's bigger?
They're both purple except for the elephant. What did Jane say when she saw the plum coming down the path?
Here comes the elephant?
Yeah, Jane was colorblind. Ba-dum-bum. I got 1 million of them, folks. I'll be here all night.
Oh, help. Have I not been tortured enough?
You brought up plum. It's all on you.
No, you brought up plum. And let's be honest with everybody. You can put a level on. That's how it happens. But bless your heart.
Michael said the dad jokes are real. Yes, they are. I got 1 million of them.
Because Michael's heard most of them.
Michael's been subjected to many of them, yes.
But you can put a board and put a level on it. And somehow
It's because it slips while I'm putting the screws in because I'm doing it one-handed. Patrick said we got a visit from FEMA yesterday. They spoke of all the programs available.
Yeah. FEMA
Tanya
just moved in. FEMA just set up an office about 10 minutes down the road starting Monday here. They were at our local farmers market today. They had a booth up there, Julie said.
Tanya said, rolling on the floor laughing. So right, Donna, he is way off. Yeah, we gotta come here and get abused. I can go anywhere.
No, you can't go anywhere. You have to stay here.
I can go anywhere and get abused.
But you have to stay here.
Okay.
Nobody else can abuse you. Only I can abuse you. So anyway, let's see what else. Kids go back to school Tuesday. There's a county. The way our county is set up, we're actually attached to 3 different counties.
One kind of above.
One to the far. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to put my hands in front of. We're attached to 3. The one that's kind of in the middle and least attached to us, but by just a few miles. They have 6 schools in their county because it's a extremely rural county, and
2 of them
were gone.
Are completely flooded.
Yeah, they're gone. They will not be able to put children. One is the middle school in the county, and one is an elementary school, and they will not be able to put those children back in those buildings.
Yeah, they're going to have to be.
So now they have to come up with a place. Our kids missed 7 days of school. Yeah, well, ours have been out since the 11th of September. And they will go back on the 2nd of October.
See, Dragonstown said, be careful with FEMA, Patrick. They expect to be repaid financially by the folks they help. Suburban said, you two sound like me and my husband. Okay.
That's nice.
It is.
It's very nice.
Breakaway said one of their schools was flooded and uninhabitable. I meant uninhabitable. Because if it's flooded, it's not inhabitable. Unless you're a fish.
Well, you don't really inhabit schools. You visit.
Well, I don't visit because I graduated.
Mm-hmm. You done finished the 6th grade.
Tanya said, we understand, Donna. You talk with your hands. Yeah, I did this one time. I held her hands, and she was like, what are you doing? Stop it.
I just dozed. So.
What's some out of you?
I can't help it. I don't know how to communicate without using my hands. One, I'm from Jersey, and I've got out of that communication.
Yeah, I didn't get whacked all day.
But, I have to talk with my hands. Okay.
You'll notice she's gotten much more subdued because she's trying not to wave her hands around. She can't talk.
I can too.
Not as effectively.
I can too.
Terry said, yes, it's a Jersey thing, Lol.
So, anyway. This county.
Patrick said, FEMA asked to come in. We told them politely, no, we were better off than others in the area to help them instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did Ronald Reagan say? The scariest words in the language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Christy Betts said, my daughter held my hands one time and said, now talk, Mom.
So, we are just very happy and very blessed. I mean, you heard of what happened in other areas when there were major storms, with Katrina, with Maria, well, we didn't hear what happened to Hugo because though it hit South Carolina, we were in Italy when Hugo hit. So we got the stories from family and friends of family. My sister-in-law's from Charleston. Your aunt was from Charleston.
Yeah.
So I just have to say, though, we were prepared. We had food. We had supplies. And
Yeah.
that was the other thing. Let me tell you how good people were. People know from around the state that there are small homesteads, there are small farms here. They brought hay, they brought cattle feed, they brought goat feed, livestock feed, they brought chicken feed. They brought everything that you could they brought dog food, they brought cat food. Julie went up because the only thing that she did run out of was hay, and she wanted to know if she could purchase some hay from them. Well, they gave her hay, but they were trying to throw other feed on her trailer, and she kept saying, "Please don't. I prepared. I have enough feed for my animals."
I said, well, what kind of animals do you have? And she tells me, well, we have something here. Take this, take that.
And she kept saying no. And the woman looked at her and said, "Why won't you take this? Don't. If you need it," Julie said, "and I don't need it, and I appreciate it. But if I take it and I don't need it, what happens to the person that comes up behind me who wasn't able to have enough feed to get them through?"
Okay, so Patrick said, would you say that bugging out was easier than those who had to rush? Well, we packed up, 2 days prior, we were packed and ready to go if need be, waiting to see at that point where the storm was going to go.
And we actually left later than what I wanted to leave. But in leaving, I think it was like 12 hours later than what I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
My max time to leave, we had to extend it by 12 hours, was actually easy because there was such a mass exodus that we sailed right through.
Yeah, we left Wednesday, right?
We left about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Tuesday at noon, they called for a mandatory evacuation. And everything shut down, and people hit the road. And that afternoon, inland of us, there's only really 2 ways out of here. And they were both jam-packed parking lots. Took people.
Someone Julie went to college with to go approximately 25 miles. No. To Kinston.
Kinston, 70-ish.
To go 70 miles took them 4 hours.
Yeah, it's usually a 2-hour drive.
We left in the wee hours in the morning. I think it was about 4 o'clock, and we sailed straight through.
Yeah. By the time we started seeing the traffic, it was normal daily driving. Morning traffic. And
yeah,
we had, other than, what did they call them, the bathroom triplets?
Other than the bathroom triplets, we were pretty good. This is why I need a helicopter.
I'm the same way, Don. Albany said I'm the same way, Donna. So let's say I had some take advantage of generosity. I couldn't live with myself if I took something I didn't need. Yeah, we didn't get anything from anybody. Ourselves. We had everything we needed.
Julie, but like I said, Julie did run out of hay, and she did go up there with the intention of purchasing, asking if she could make a purchase or a donation or whatever, and they wouldn't take it. They just gave her the hay.
Michael said, I was in the had to rush group. We planned on staying, but when we woke up Friday morning, the water was rising. By noon, it was already in my garage. We had less than an hour to pack and leave. Yeah.
And Michael lives, 20 miles from us?
Yeah.
That. We are 20 miles further east than Michael is.
Quite honestly, I would have never considered where they live to be in any danger of flooding.
No.
So it's not someplace I would go to evacuate because it's still within the hard wind zone. But as far as flooding goes, I've never considered that as a flood hazard. And so that was amazing to me that they got the flooding there.
Yeah, it really was.
But by leaving, we had the plan. We had everything determined what we were taking. It was already pre-packed, what was going into whose car and how we were getting everything loaded up. Most of it was already loaded. So when it came time to leave, it was throw the last few things in the car, and off we went.
Well, the last few things was us and the animals.
And you know, anyway.
So
But we got on the road, we got out, we sailed through, and other than, like I said, lots of potty breaks, we got to where we were going without any trouble.
let me tell you, the linemen, the power company, the linemen, so amazing. We had trucks, we passed trucks as we were leaving that were coming in to be stationed ready.
Before the storm got here, they were coming closer to the coast and staging. We saw, oh, I don't know.
We saw them from Quebec.
Yeah, well, I'm saying we saw probably groups of 10 and 12 at a time, 3 or 4 big groups like that, and then 3s and 4s, too many to count.
Yeah, I have to say that we must have seen 100 power trucks, or 100. I'm sorry, 500 power trucks
on the course
road
of our trip. There were. It was like the main thing we saw coming east as we were heading west was
power trucks.
Power trucks. You know, bucket trucks, the ones with the augers, support trucks, all kinds of stuff. Knowing some of the people who do that as a profession, it's amazing the conditions they work in.
So, it really is. It just absolutely amazing, and they're wonderful people, and they just in the heat, as soon as the winds die down to where it's safe for them to be out, they're out and working
in still blowing wind and rain, and it's just nastiness out there, and they're out there assessing, cleaning up, getting lines out of the road, all kinds of things. So if you want to see a hero, Nike should put them on a poster. Linemen.
Yeah. And then police,
fire.
Okay,
EMS.
so we had to have a little chuckle. Myself being from Jersey, my father from New York. New York and New Jersey both sent police down here. Well, they're not exactly Second Amendment friendly states. Well, the city and the state of Jersey, the city of New York. Not. So we were laughing. We didn't run into it, but we thought in our twisted minds, just about everybody in North Carolina carries. And when you're stopped, whether it's a roadblock or a stop, you are required by law to inform the officer that you are a concealed carry permit holder and whether you are carrying or not.
No, you only have to tell them if you're carrying. If you're not carrying, you don't have to.
Okay, that's an iffy thing.
But everybody,
it's just better.
It's safer to tell them, because if you don't say anything because you're not carrying and they run your plate and they find out you're a permit holder, then they're worried about whether you did or didn't say anything.
So it's just practice around here. Officer, I am a concealed carry permit holder. I am carrying. I am not carrying. Let me tell you, more times than not, if you're not carrying and they stop you for a roadside license check, they fuss at you. You have a concealed carry permit and you're not carrying. Why? Why are you not carrying?
That happened to us.
It did happen.
While we were out, we ran to pick up some supplies, and there was one of the license check things, and the guy said,
"Well, it didn't happen to me."
No, but our son-in-law, he said, "I'm a permit holder. I'm not carrying." And the officer said, "That's twice. That's 2 today. What's wrong with you people? Why aren't you carrying?"
So back to our story. We were kind of praying that the good officers from the state of New Jersey and New York were not put on roadblocks, because I think they would have stroked out from the number of people when they rolled down the window, because you hand them your driver's license and your permit at the same time, and say, "Officer, I am a concealed carry permit holder. I am carrying. I am not carrying. How would you like to proceed?"
Yeah. And I could just see Officer Vinny from New Jersey, where guns are things that cops have, and they
Generally don't like other.
the unwashed masses aren't allowed to have them for the most part. And it's like,
So in our twisted minds, we were sitting there laughing.
There's a culture shock that could happen.
Yeah, and praying that they use these officers in other capacities. Which we are grateful that they wanted to come down here and help keep law and order, which was a good thing.
Suburban said everybody here with half a brain carries. Open carry is legal.
Yeah, open carry is legal here too.
Concealed carry needs a permit. It's rare if I get the mail without carrying.
Here's the thing. Open carry is legal. But if you put the gun between your seat, that can be construed as concealed. If a magazine falls on top of it, the article of clothing.
It's up to the officer's discretion.
So most people, if they open carry in a car, lay it on the dashboard.
Patrick said we had swift water rescue volunteers from Michigan down here.
Yep.
And
we had the Cajun Navy.
Suburban said, I love it when I get a very young waiter at a restaurant and ask for my ID. I give him my concealed carry permit. that's just twisted. I like that idea. I'll have to try it.
But the poor police officers, if they came from states that are not as Second Amendment, stop! You're shaking. You're making people seasick. They can't see the screen. Stop it.
Work with me here.
Elbow in the rib. Okay.
I noticed that.
Stop. So anyway, the culture shock that they must have had, and you know, I'm sorry.
We're very happy that they were here to help everybody out.
Yes, we were grateful for everybody who was not from the state or some other part of the state that gave up their time, left their own homes and families to come and help.
Albany Mountain Homestead, leave it to the Navy man. What you talk about, Willis? I'm not in the Navy.
Yeah, no, he's not Navy. He's Air Force.
They go, in the air, Junior Birdman.
Up in the air, Birdman fly. Up in the air, Junior Birdman. Get your wings up in the sky, get 'em high.
Okay, made the point with the first two lines.
Yeah, but I know the rest of the song.
I'm happy for you.
So
anyway,
as one of our grandsons says.
Well, you say anyway, and he jumps in. Anyway. Like, can't you find anything else to say?
I know. We do use that instead of hum. And
it's a long verbalized pause.
So, overall, yes, we have some problems. I came home today and my car was gone. It went by way of... I don't know where it went. I really don't know. The insurance company said they were picking it up and...
They want to take it to their facility to inspect it and check it, see how bad a damage it is. So, okay.
That's fine.
They didn't say if they were bringing it back or not. I guess if they don't think it's bad enough to total it out, they'll bring it back.
And here's the thing that got me. I had to call about the floors buckling, and I had to call about water in the car. And the first question out of their mouth was, how deep did the water get? I don't know. Excuse me? There was a Category 4 hurricane headed my way. I left. I don't know how much water came up, drove by, splashed in, rained on top of it. I don't know. I wasn't here.
And you can't, it's not like you can look at the debris line where the maximum water level was, because we had 2 days of hurricane force winds and rain. So after the water went down, it rained and blew and washed everything away. Car looked better than I've seen it in a long time.
No, it didn't. That's not funny.
Except for the broken off
window
covers.
We had, on all our windows, we had the rain guards so that you could leave your window cracked and it wouldn't rain inside the window.
Yeah, well, the driver's side of the car didn't have those anymore. So, anyway.
The passengers the back seat of the driver's side, that one broke too.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So, anyway. Hey, Heather!
But.
So, when I say that we have some issues we have to deal with, yes, we have issues that we have to deal with, and our stress levels go from this to this accordingly, emotions up and down. But we are so blessed. Becca's making faces at us as she walks by. So, we're blessed. We are extremely blessed. Even as unsettling as making the claims, and I had to go grocery shopping for meat the other day. That was stressful. Because even though things are coming in, things are not. You have your grocery store. You go in there, you look at the meat department, you look at the produce department. You get what you need. Sometimes they're a little shy of what you need. Imagine 60,000 people needing the same thing you need at the same time. Things are a little...
Picked over?
Yeah, actually, Julie and I left at 7:30 in the morning so we could be at the grocery store at 8 o'clock in the morning so that we might have first pickings over what came in the night before. And that's another thing. The meat, our freezers were full of our meat.
Yeah, the stuff we raised and harvested ourselves.
And knew what it ate. So be it. It'll all work out.
But we made it home. The trip home, well, was almost uneventful.
The second trip home was uneventful. The first trip home was full of event. But we'll go into that later.
But
I think the best idea that came out of this whole thing was that we're going to plant those trees. That we're going to make the boards we need.
Turn it into timber. Yeah.
Turn it into timber and put it up for the winter, let it dry, and then we'll have lots of boards. Lots of boards.
Then I can sing my song. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. No?
Stop.
You know the rest of it.
For their sake, please stop.
I can tell dad jokes. Breakaway said we lost some venison. I was hoping to be actually obtaining some venison.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's bow season right now. But quite honestly, since the storm, I haven't seen any.
No, they're all laying low there. Well,
plus, it hasn't stopped raining.
There's so much foliage down on the ground from the fallen trees and stuff. They don't have to go out very far from their normal range. There's so many oak trees down that all the acorns and things are there for them to eat. Suburban said, y'all are used to our own organic meat. Be ready for stomach upset even a few weeks away. Do something to boost our immune systems. I sound like somebody's mother. You are somebody's mother.
We are. We started boosting our immune systems the day we left.
Yeah.
Because just the added stress of having to leave can
mess with your immune system.
Yeah. And your digestive system. So we've been working on both.
Patrick said, I have a trail cam, no deer out. They're eating persimmons. All of the stuff that got blown down is right there. They don't have to go foraging for food in the air. That's all down on the ground for them. It's going to disrupt all of the hunting season for probably the rest of this season, but I'm going to give it a shot. We'll get out there and get the stands.
We still have our turkeys, though. We can still harvest turkeys for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Silver said, I knew y'all were really smart. Well, thank you.
But it'll be okay.
We have stuff.
If we don't get any venison, we have goats. Goat meat is very much like venison meat, in my opinion.
Yeah, very similar. Very dense, no fat to
Very little
speak of.
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And there's a couple of them that really tick me off. I'm just kidding. There are a few that are.
and if we have to harvest one of the bulls sooner, we can do that. So,
Yeah, exactly. Patrick said wait till the rut
yeah.
because yeah, they are totally different creatures before and or during.
So, the thing that I don't like right now are the timber rattlers are out.
Well, everything's up dislodged by the flooding, looking for high ground. I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, somebody else that Julie and David went to high school with, they lost 4 vehicles. Their house is actually 6 feet above ground, and the water was within an inch of coming in the front door. So they lost all their vehicles, um, all their ductwork under their house. They they still have to have their well
Tested.
chlorinated and tested to be safe for drinking. So there you go. This is why I am so thankful we have our Berkey. That,
Yeah, just
that is a
throw
blessing.
it through the water and.
Yep. Pull the water up, put it through the Berkey, we're good.
Good night, Patrick.
Good night, Patrick. So, well, we're going to cut out. I talked to Jason earlier today. Go over to Big Bear Homestead. They'll be coming on at 8. Unless somebody tells me differently, but Jason told me they were going live tonight. And we just wanted to give you a quick update, which was a little bit more than quick, but just, all the blessings that came out of here. Oh, and Steve, you having your ham license really helped. Being able to listen and...
Yeah, that was one of the prep things I did is I plotted out repeaters and locations, and I had one of my radios pre-programmed as we went county by county. I could switch channels and listen for updates and things.
If you do not have a ham radio license, I strongly suggest that you study. You pay $15 for the test. You can take the technician test. You can take
You can take all 3 tests. There's technician, general, and extra.
And extra. All for the same $15. You decided to take the technician and...
I did technician and general.
And passed them both on the same day.
Yeah. You
said that you didn't think you were going to go for the extra because it really doesn't...
It doesn't add a whole lot of... Until I get into it more, if I start getting to things and I see there's areas where it makes a difference, I'll eventually do the extra just because I'm that way. But there's not a lot that it opens up that I can't use now. As a general, I have just about all ham frequencies opened up to me.
And really, you have a friend who's had a ham license for years, and he's only had the technician license, and he said he can do most everything he needs to do on that license.
Yeah.
So, it's something to consider in an emergency. It's a good way to communicate. And so, and the test wasn't that hard, was it?
No, the biggest thing is you have to memorize the FCC rules and some of the things like that. And then it's a very basic electronics. You can do pretty simple. There's online tests, prep things that you can go through. Just practice, study for it. Basically, you can go to just do the test over and over and over and review the ones you miss until you memorize all the answers.
Okay, well, it's 4 minutes to 8, and Jason and Robin over at Big Bear Homestead. Go to Big Bear Homestead after us, and I think they just went live. So, guys, as always, have a safe and blessed day, weekend, and week, and always share your knowledge. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for stopping by.